Good morning, friends, and welcome to a very relaxed, cozy Sunday. I woke up this morning and thought, you know what? It's almost October. No, it's not almost October. It's almost Halloween. It's almost the end of October. And I want to do something fun today. I want to enjoy the Sunday. I want to have a relaxed Sunday, but I also want to enjoy a very special thing. And I want to celebrate the pumpkin today. So today is going to be all about pumpkins. I know that sounds kind of funny, but honestly I love the pumpkin. The pumpkin is so universal. You don't just have sweet pumpkin stuff, you have savory pumpkin stuff. You can decorate with pumpkins, you can do so much with pumpkins. So I thought today would be a perfect day to really just embrace the pumpkin. So welcome to a fun video where we're doing everything pumpkin. But really today is going to be a mix of coziness, a mix of baking and relaxing and more pumpkin things. I'm not exactly sure everything we're going to get done today, but we're going to go ahead and have some fun and see what happens. So the first thing first, I woke up this morning and I made myself a cup of coffee. Of course, that's what I do. And I have my coffee cup. That's a pumpkin. And so I was like, yeah, this is going to be today. I'm going to interrupt this program real quick because I want to talk about the giveaway really fast. And I know this lighting is terrible, I'm so sorry, but I'm sticking with the pumpkin theme. I have the pumpkin hat on. I just wanted to talk about the giveaway from last week, and I wanted to do a little screen recording of who's going to win the giveaway. So let's go ahead and do that really fast. So I've already added the video in here just so it was a little bit faster. We're not going to add comment replies, I do apologize, but maybe we'll go ahead and do that in the future if you're interested in more giveaways. We're going to have one winner. We're going to go ahead and do a wheel because that's fun. And we're going to do colors of autumn because that's what we're doing here. We're going to get our YouTube comments. So we have 8 comments in total, or 8 commenters. And I'm so sorry for all of the Bewerbungen on here, but I'm using a free site. So, okay, so we have 2 people in here that have commented 2 original comments. So these aren't including the replies. These are just direct comments. That's going to be Aspiring Dreams and Books and Whiskey. So you could possibly have a higher chance of winning. We could change this in the future, but for now, I think this is how we're going to keep it. This is my first giveaway, so we're trying some new things out. So we're going to go ahead and spin. I think I just clicked to spin, right? Aspiring Dreams, congratulations, which I think is so fun because you had mentioned that you jumped onto the giveaway as just, hey, it's a giveaway, and now you've won, so congratulations. I'm going to go ahead and message you on the comment directly, or on your comment directly, and then we can talk a little bit more on how we're going to do the giveaway. Let me know if you guys are interested in more giveaways. I kind of love sharing some pieces of art I've done and some other little things I've done, and this is just a fun little thing to do, but let me know your thoughts. Also, I apologize for the terrible microphone and sound quality. My microphone got put in the washer because I'm a goofball, and now I'm waiting for new microphones, so I do apologize for the sound. But let's go ahead and get back to our video. Congratulations again to Aspiring Dreams. I think your name is very fitting for this one. So let's go ahead and get back to our video. And so what I do have slightly planned, I thought today we can go ahead and do some baking, of course. But yes, I love baking. I think baking is fantastic, it's wonderful, and it's so fun. But baking also takes a lot of time sometimes, and I definitely like myself a box mix sometimes because it just makes life a lot easier, and sometimes I just want something quick and easy. I have a friend in the US who's fantastic and has done me a big favor and sent me a few things from Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's pumpkin stuff, and if you have not tried it before, I highly recommend it. They have a ton of different pumpkin themed things. They're not all fantastic, but a lot of them are. She sent me a few things, and I want to share a couple of the things I have, and then we can go ahead and talk a little bit about what we're doing as a bake, and then we can go ahead and continue on with our day. So Trader Joe's first, and then I'll tell you what else I have planned. I'm just looking at the Trader Joe's things sitting in front of me, and I want to talk about them. So Trader Joe's first, we have our pumpkin and spice snickerdoodle cookie mix. I made these a couple weeks ago, and they are divine, they are addictive, and they are so tasty. So I highly recommend these. I do recommend making the cookies a little bit smaller though, so you can eat them more. You can eat more of them. Yeah, so you can eat more of them in one sitting, because if you have them tiny, it feels like you're not eating as much cookie. That's my trick. That's how I can eat like 6 or 7 of them in a row. So I highly recommend this baking mix. It's really easy, really fun, and really, really tasty. Another one that she sent over were these, this isn't baking, but these pumpkin spiced teeny tiny pretzels. These are so addictive and so delightful. I think they're the yogurt covered pretzels. Yep. Yogurt flavored, coated and crushed pumpkin spiced pumpkin seeds. These are so, so delicious. My partner and I can eat a whole bag of these in one sitting. There's not very many in them, of course, but we could eat a bag to ourselves. My friend sent over 2 bags of these because she knows that we really love them. And my partner really, really does like these. So I have to go ahead and slowly eat them because we both would eat them all, honestly. They're so tasty and they're so fun and they're just yum. Another thing that's not baking related is coffee. I'm drinking this normally on the weekday as a nice little treat because I don't get to have a pumpkin spice latte as easily because we have only a few Starbucks here in Germany. But this has been a great replacement. So this is a pumpkin spice coffee mix. This is really delightful, really strong though. So I highly recommend just making 1 cup of coffee first and seeing if you want a second cup of coffee. For me, I normally have 1 cup of coffee of this and then another normal cup of coffee, so that way my flavor balances out a little bit, because this is definitely strong, but really, really fitting for the season. It is so warm and cozy, and it's almost like you can feel the spices warming your chest. It's really fantastic. I have 2 other baking things here, but these are the things that we're going to be doing today. So I have one, the pumpkin bread and muffin mix. This is really, really, really fantastic. I love making this right before like a weekday starts, so that way I can have this for breakfasts. This is one of those really easy baking recipes. You throw it all in a bowl, you add some eggs, I think. Eggs, oil, water. This is really easy, really tasty. This is what we're going to be baking today, and I'm really excited because this is one of my favorite things to bake. It smells also so divine, so wonderful, and it tastes really, really good too. And we are having brunch today. Sunday is normally our brunch days where we kind of relax a lot more in the morning, we read a little bit more in the morning, and then we'll have brunch around 11 o'clock. And that's going to involve these pumpkin pancakes and waffle mix, but we normally make the pancakes. This is also really, really tasty. I can eat so many of these pancakes, and it matches so perfectly with maple syrup. So we're going to be making brunch today as well. It's going to involve some sausages, eggs, and pancakes. And it's just going to be a very relaxed morning. So this is what we have planned for this morning. I also have a giant pumpkin. I don't want to hold it right now, but this is me holding the pumpkin, and then I'll show you the pumpkin a little bit later. But I'm wearing my pajamas still, and so I don't want to, oh, my pajamas are also pumpkins. So, sorry. But I don't want to hold the pumpkin right now, so I'll show you a little bit later. And I'm thinking about carving my pumpkin today. I bought this giant pumpkin because I was like, I want to carve a giant pumpkin this year. No idea what I'm going to do, but I'm going to think of something. I also have my pumpkin head. I made that out of paper mache stuff. I think I'm going to add that at the very end of the video. So if you want to see how I made a paper mache pumpkin head, or these are actually paper mache as well. So I went ahead and made these a couple weeks ago. I really loved it. It's really fun, perfect for kids, but also perfect for adults. For example, if you don't want to have a bunch of pumpkins spoiling in your home, these are really, really, really great. So, oh, I had a balloon on the inside of this, so the balloon's flopping around. So these are really fun and really easy to make. This one's also paper mache. But I think you can tell this one's paper mache. It's further away because it's not as pretty. So I will pop that in the end of the video, and we have a couple other things we're going to do, but I think we're going to keep it as a surprise. First off, we're going to go ahead and make ourselves some pumpkin bread. So let's head into the kitchen and change my outfit so I don't get this really dirty, because this is a really cute pumpkin pajama set. So yeah, okay, to the kitchen. we have our pumpkin bread, so how are we going to enjoy it? Of course, reading Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. And I've recommended this graphic novel before, and I'm going to continue recommending it because it's just so lovely. It's so sweet, perfect for the season, and so heartwarming and cozy. We follow two friends who have been working at a pumpkin patch for many years, and this night is their last night that they can go enjoy everything. And it's just very lovely and sweet and so fun to follow. And if you're saying, hey, Melissa, I've read Pumpkinheads, what other fun little activities can I do while I eat my pumpkin bread? Well, you can draw some pumpkins. That's always fun. But I think we're ready for a bigger task. Hi. So I want to carve this ginormous pumpkin. And I thought we could do it together, at least a little bit. You don't have to be here for the whole thing, because you know how to carve a pumpkin. And if you don't, then I'll show you a couple tricks and fun things. But I thought this would be a really fun activity, especially since we're celebrating everything pumpkin today. And I would show you, one, carving a pumpkin, and then we can do the paper mache pumpkin afterwards. If you're like, Melissa, carving pumpkins are way too messy for me. Paper mache pumpkins, however, are also very messy, but that's, hey, one's easier to clean up than the other. You can decide which one. But I thought it would be just a fun little task to do together, and kind of have a little chat. I thought I don't really actually sit here and chat with you guys all that often, so I thought maybe it'd be kind of fun to tell you, one, why this season is so special to me. It's not just because of YouTube. It's actually has a very warm spot in my heart. Maybe I'll talk about some other little things, but just kind of a sit down and chat. If you don't like those types of videos, I'm so sorry. You've now joined into the cozy part of this video, but don't worry, we'll get crafting with a pumpkin soon. So I'm gonna first off cut the bottom out of my pumpkin so that way we can at least start taking out the insides, and then that way we can kind of chat a little bit more relaxed because I don't have to think about that part. But there is one thing I want to talk about carving a pumpkin. And when I was little, I remember always cutting out the top, but I learned that you can actually cut out the bottom and it's a lot easier, and then you don't have to stick your hand into a slimy pumpkin to take the candle out or light the candle or anything like that. Like, it's just an easy way to lift the pumpkin and put it on top of the candle, so you never have to stick your hand into the pumpkin. So I'm going to cut the bottom out of my pumpkin. There's two sides of my pumpkin that I find really interesting. This one has like the slit in it, and then the other side is like really round. I'm going to use the really round side because I'm going to do some designs that are a little bit more difficult. Yes, I'm using paper designs because I got this really cool carving kit from the US 2 years ago. And it came with some designs, and I kind of want to use them so that way I don't have to try to go onto the internet and try to find something. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to start with this carving, which is a bat carving, and we're going to see how far we get, and maybe we do 2 carvings. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how I'm feeling. But first, we have to cut out the bottom to release the inside. Also, getting these carving tools has made carving a pumpkin so much easier. I always used a kitchen knife when I was growing up, and I thought, oh, this is the easiest way to carve pumpkins. No, getting a carving set is the easiest way. So if you don't have a carving set, I say go spend the $10 and get a carving set, because it has made my life so much easier. Always be safe. Put your knife where you're not going to step on it. I have a bowl here that I'm going to put all my guts in, so I have it there. Let's see if we can get the pumpkin or the bottom out. I'm not an expert pumpkin carver, but there's that show, Halloween Wars, where they make candy, cake, and pumpkin, and I love that show, and there's no way of watching it here in Germany, but it is like one of my favorite shows to watch during the season, and I can't watch it. But it is amazing what they can do with pumpkins. I'm always impressed. All right, we're almost there. Maybe if I push it in. Ugh. That worked. Okay, wow, this is a really thick pumpkin. So I don't have to keep this part, and I can just get rid of this part. Isn't that great? And I want to try to keep the pumpkin seeds. I try to make pumpkin seeds every year, but for some reason I'm terrible at it. Terrible at baking pumpkin seeds, I know. But it is just not something I'm very good at. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to keep the pumpkin seeds and bake them tonight so we can have pumpkin seed snacks while we watch a movie tonight. So let me go ahead and remove these pumpkin seeds, and then we can have a sit down and a chat while I remove the guts from my pumpkin. So I'll see you back in like maybe 20 minutes. I'm kidding, but we'll see how long this takes me. Okay, we're a little bit more closer and personal now. And I have my pumpkin here. So I'm gonna empty out the middle, and while I'm emptying out the middle, I thought we can have a little chat. This is not a Q&A because I didn't ask any questions beforehand, but that's okay. I thought I could just tell you a little bit about why I like the season, like I was talking about earlier, and what got me so into the fall season. Because I think it's such an interesting question, because a lot of us are like obsessed with fall, like myself, and some of it's for the hype, of course, which is perfectly okay. But some of us have special connections to the fall season. And, oh, sorry. For me, it, I think, started as a hype a little bit. But I think it was also moving to Germany. I think I realized that this season's not really celebrated here. And there's something warm and soft about the fall season that I really like. My dad was also born in the season. And he always made delicious meals. Like, he always made really, really good stews. And I don't remember anything specifically related to fall for his cooking, but his cooking always reminded me of fall. So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm also really obsessed with the fall season. But there's also just something warm about it. There's something that always feels like a warm hug. And I have really vivid memories of like carving pumpkins with my siblings when I was little. And we lived in really tiny houses when I was younger, so we weren't a wealthy family. But we did do some things that were really great. And I remember my siblings with me when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and they were carving pumpkins with me, and we had a horror movie in the background. We had Chucky playing in the background. We didn't have rules about like when we could watch horror movies, so I remember watching horror movies since I was really little, and I think that's one of the things why I like horror things so much. But I also think it's like connected to my dad again. Like there's a lot of stuff that's connected to my dad here, and I lost my dad when I was 21, and I think there's a lot of things that connect him to me during the season, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. But also, like, I just have really good memories with my siblings. I remember going trick-or-treating with my brother when I was little, and him wearing really scary costumes, and I was like dressed, I had a Snow White costume that I was obsessed with, and I remember having it hanging up in my brother's room, in his closet, because he had a bigger closet than I did. I was sharing a room with my 2 older sisters, and he had his own room, and I remember it hung up in his room, in his closet, and I used to go in there and look at it all the time and would think to myself, I want to be able to wear this all the time. Now that I'm an adult, I realize, hey, that's not normal, but I can do what I want because I'm an adult. So I like to dress up, as you've probably seen. I like to wear fun outfits. And during the fall season, I feel like it's almost more acceptable to wear like different outfits and different things. It's also easier because it's colder, so you can layer up way more. And I feel like in the summer and the hot seasons, it's so much more difficult to kind of dress up because it's just too warm. It's just too hot. And I'm sure you know, if you've been hanging out with me for a while, I'm not a big fan of the hot season. I'm learning to love it, but it's a lot. It's really hot. But there's something just warm and cozy about the season that I love. And yeah, I think there's a hype connected to it. I think there's a hype connected to it because a lot of other people love it so much. But I was at my office the other day, and I had a coworker ask me if or what I was doing over the weekend, and I mentioned, oh, I'm gonna probably carve a pumpkin and eat some pumpkin tasty things and celebrate fall a little bit more because we're in the middle of October. And he's like, oh, you're one of those fall people, aren't you? And I thought to myself, why is it so shameful? Like, he was like, you probably drink that pumpkin spice latte stuff, huh? And I was like, yes, but I also like pumpkin spice lattes. I think, one, it reminds me of home a lot. Again, home. If you haven't found a theme, I like things that remind me of home. But he was talking to me about like how it's a hype thing, and I was like, you know what, like, hey, some of us just like the season, and some of us like to be in the hype situation. Like, why isn't Christmas considered hype? Or people who really like other things, why aren't those considered a hype? Why is fall almost being shamed for being a hype thing? And then why the ones of us who like it so much are stuck in this like of being shamed about it? At least that's how I feel. I do know there's like purchasing problems with it and stuff like that. Like, I do understand that. Like, I have a carving set. I don't need a carving set, but I'm not gonna lie, it makes my life a lot easier. And it's something that I just was happy to bring into my apartment and my home. Of course, like, I also try not to buy too many decorations, but I still did, and I still decorated my home. I mean, you've seen some of my decorations. I even made a decorating with me video because there's something about also bringing the fall season indoors that makes me happy. And sometimes some of us just want to be a little bit happy. But no, I also just really like having that feeling in my home, and I don't want to feel shame about it or feel weird about it, so I don't. I've just been scooping out seats this entire time while I'm talking to you, but yeah, this is not what we were talking about, right? You want to hear about pumpkins and stuff, or do you want to hear about this other things? Yeah, I don't know. I've never done one of these before. But yeah, I thought it would just be kind of fun to have a little chat and tell you a little bit about more of who I am. Maybe you're interested in like why I'm on YouTube, and that's actually an interesting story. Ooh. Because I joined YouTube because I couldn't find a job in Germany. I have lots of guts. So I actually joined YouTube the first year of COVID, so 2019, I believe, because I couldn't find a job here and I was going stir crazy. Being at home all the time and not having a purpose, not for me. I realized I can't do it. And so I talked to my partner quite a bit. I was a big baker back when I lived in the US. I baked a lot for my coworkers. I made their Thanksgiving pies. I sold pies. I made cakes for friends. And when I moved here, I was getting back into the baking scene, but I realized that one, American sweets are just really, really sweet for those Germans. So I had to cut back a lot of my sugars and relearn recipes. And then I also was just trying to figure out what I was going to do. I had taken my German classes, but I still couldn't find a job because my German wasn't very good. And I struggled at finding a job, and so I decided to start YouTube to distract myself. So I decided to start a baking YouTube, and I did baking recipes, and I showed different recipes. I even did, I loved this part actually, I really loved doing this. I did a kids camp baking camp where each week I would post a recipe of like kid-friendly recipes, and it was just like a baking camp, and it was so fun. I really loved doing that, and I'm kind of bummed that it didn't do so well. Maybe I'll do it in the future again, but it was just really fun. And if you're still interested, I have all those videos still posted so you can check them out. But I really, really enjoyed doing that. It was just a fun way to, I was thinking about my nephews when I was doing this, because I have a couple nephews. But I was thinking about my nephews when I started doing the baking camp, and it was just a lot of fun. It was just a really great way to like show baking stuff. And I continued doing that, and then I was lucky enough to find a job, and I started working there in 2020, I believe. Yes, 2020. and I have been working there ever since, so I've still been at that office. I took a break from YouTube for a little while after that because I was really focused on my job and focused on like making sure I was doing my job to the best of my possibility. Still am, don't worry. But I was just making sure that like I wanted to make sure I was one, understanding everything because my job is completely in German. And I wanted to make sure I understood what my bosses wanted and what I needed to do. And I kept doing that for a couple years until I realized that I was missing out on something really important. I wasn't baking as much, I wasn't being creative, and I was just feeling very like gray, if I could say that. So I was feeling very just, my microphone died, so I do apologize. This is going to be terrible audio, but we'll make it work. So I do apologize. But, oh, YouTube. So I decided to go back to YouTube because I wanted to be creative, and making videos actually makes me really happy. I love this creative space. I still make big mistakes like my microphone situation right now. I actually washed it in the dishwasher. I washed it in the washer the other day, and that's why it's broken. But I continued doing YouTube, and that's where I am at. I moved over to cozy content because baking was really difficult. I was gaining weight because I was eating all of my baked goods because I couldn't take them to the office because I was testing out quite a few different recipes, and I just felt uncomfortable taking to the office. When I lived in the US, I used to do it, but now I work in a much bigger office, and it's just different. I sometimes gave my treats to my partner so he could take them to his office, but then they started saying stop taking things to the office because they were all gaining weight. So I said, okay, I need to do something to update my content a little bit. And I was reading a bunch, and I thought, okay, I'll add books. I was like, but I don't want to become a booktuber because I'm not just about books. I'm still really focused on this cozy world. And so I decided to go ahead and start adding cozy content. So I went to the cozy content world. I now focus on books, baking, and other cozy content. That's my slogan type thing. And I love it. I think it's a great way to be able to mix in some crafty things sometimes, like carving a pumpkin. Some of my passions, like the fall season, baking of course, and I continue baking every week. I even do my baking challenge to make sure I'm baking new things, and I still get the chance to read. So I love it, and it's so much fun. But I have a question. What do people do who don't have hobbies? Like, what do you do on the weekends? Like, I feel like my weekends are so packed sometimes that I have no time to actually relax. And I feel like sometimes when I go to the office, I say, hey, what do you do this weekend? Everybody says, oh, you know, just hung out. And I'm like, what did you do? Like, what do people do when they don't do these things? I mean, you're watching this video, so I'm guessing you're in that creative space of like doing fun creative things or reading. But what do people do that don't do those things? That's my question. Okay, my pumpkin's cleaned out, so I'm gonna go ahead and start putting on the stencil. You can't hear me very well anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some music on, and we're going to just have a fun time carving a pumpkin. It is a very thick pumpkin. I mean, oh God, it's still really heavy. It's a thick pumpkin. Like, it's at least a couple inches thick. So I'm gonna carve this out, and we're going to have fun and listen to some music. So I'll music you guys later. That didn't make any sense. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, let's do pumpkin carving. I wanted to jump in here before the sun goes completely away and you can no longer see me. I'm still working on carving my pumpkin. I'll show pictures after it's done. Actually, I'll just show pictures now because it'll be done by the time this video's up. I really love how it turned out. This pumpkin was extremely thick, so it's taking me a lot longer than I thought it would, but that's completely okay. I have the Good Witch playing in the background, and I'm just enjoying a little bit of cozy time. And I'm really enjoying it, actually. It's exactly the Sunday I needed. So I hope this gives you some inspiration on Sundays or days where you can just kind of embrace the pumpkin. Thanks again for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble and chat. I hope it was entertaining for you. If you guys like this video, make sure you subscribe. It does help me out. And if you like it, also make sure you like it. And the like button, because it shows me that these are the types of videos that you guys want to watch as well. But I think I'm going to go ahead and keep carving my pumpkin. I'm not done yet. I'm going to go ahead and have a slow evening. I might play some pumpkin jack. So at this moment, this is going to be my goodbyes before the video completely ends. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for having a moment to hang out with me, and I really appreciate you. So I hope you have a fantastic day, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao! You've probably noticed there's 5 more minutes left of this video, and you're thinking to yourself, Melissa, what are you going to do? Well, you forgot one major thing. I promised of showing how to make a paper mache pumpkin, a pumpkin that you could keep for many, many, many years. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm not going to go ahead and voice over the instructions. I'm just going to go ahead and let you enjoy the music in the background and watch me make some fun pumpkins. So I hope you guys enjoy, and thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have a fantastic day, a wonderful weekend, and again, I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, and I hope you enjoy this pumpkin fun.